we'll get going. I can't promise anything good with respect to his connection. It was a little spotty today, but maybe we got it going. We'll see. We will see. So, kind of out of nowhere, I'm going to wait for Bobby to talk about this, but got a little bit of a sweat here. Pretty severe cut sweat, actually. I didn't expect to even have a chance with this, but it looks as though well, hold on. Thought this was right. Yeah, so we got two sweats, and if they could actually both hit and come in, I might be on to something. I really just kind of gave up on these two clowns, but they're within one they're within one lucky birdie of making the cut. I think both of them. Yeah. So I got Taylor Gooch and Lanto Griffin, all of whom. Yeah, hey, Bobby.
Hey, what's up?
There?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hold on.
I'm here.
Hey, so out of nowhere, I have a kind of a vicious, kind of outrageous. I never thought I'd have a chance. Kind of cut sweat. So I have Lanto Griffin and Taylor Gooch both at -2. They both need a birdie on one of the last two holes that they're playing. I need them both.
Good luck to you.
No kidding, right?
Pretty pissed off. I have every lineup like is 4 guys at 7 under or better, and then
I hear you.
It's really frustrating, and I'm ready to talk some baseball because it's a huge slate with a lot to get through, and we've got like 25 minutes. So
all right, let's do it.
I'm scared a little bit about I'm like scared about the weather. I had a really distinct thing I really wanted to do today, and then we have no JD Martinez in Boston, which kind of is frustrating. But they're obviously going to still be crazy owned, and I'm having a hard time getting away from it. I'm having a hard time getting away from Charlie Morton, and I'm worried about the weather there, especially because Washington will postpone games faster than like any team. So I'm just a little bit nervous every which way here. And then we've got weather in other places like Philly, which is going to affect potentially a delay for Zach Wheeler. So it's just there's a lot of things that are still, I feel like, up in the air that I don't feel great about. So
well, let me try to do some scouring with respect to weather and see if I can't get anything other than what you already probably know. That's the thing. I mean, it's like so hot in these places that rain is just kind of always in the offing, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how you guys live like this, man. It's crazy out here. Like you can barely go outside in Boston, but there's no rain here. It's just like the heat is crazy. Not used to this.
Yeah. So I guess the first decision we have to make, and we could talk about the players and stuff, but I really think the first decision we have to make is what to do about the Atlanta, Washington, and Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, right? And now the Atlanta, Washington is obviously a lot more important because it has a key pitcher in the game. Like Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, it's just a matter of whether you want to play the Milwaukee hitters or not.
I really like Atlanta's stack too.
That too, right? Exactly. Yeah. So that's actually the first thing that we have to kind of analyze a little bit. So if anybody out there has any color with respect to Atlanta and Washington, just fire it in there. The other thing, again, just to keep in mind, I don't know if it happens this year, but I get the years confused. But Washington, they sometimes even like cancel games when it doesn't even rain,
Right.
So they have a pretty quick trigger finger.
Yep, absolutely.
So I mean, hey, if it's a really quick trigger finger, go ahead, freaking cancel it now and be done with it.
Right.
But I don't like the quick delay and then trigger finger. That's kind of what I'm not.
I hear you, bud. Feel you the exact same way. I'm playing an unhealthy amount of Shane McClanahan tonight. I just want to start off with that, I guess.
Okay.
I think that it's an awesome spot. You got the pitcher's umpire. Minnesota, we've seen them in recent weeks, even though there's a couple guys who are good against lefties, they've just been getting crushed by good lefties. And I think it's a really good spot at low ownership that I think people will catch on to, but maybe not enough. So I really like Shane McClanahan. I have less Luzardo and Alzaloy than the field probably does, but it doesn't mean I don't like them. They have a terrible pitcher's umpire for one thing. So I'm a little bit less excited about them. And I just think there's better spots to go for ceilings. I do have like 20% Luzardo and like 10% Alzaloy on DraftKings, and I have Alzaloy on FanDuel. I don't have any Luzardo on FanDuel. But I have, 35% McClanahan, 30% Ray. I'm sorry, 35% Ray, 35% Blake Snell, 20% Nick Pivetta, and then I'm deciding what to do with Morton. Another horrible pitcher's umpire for Pivetta, but I'm still willing to take a shot with him. I just think that no ownership at 8K, it wouldn't surprise me if he was at the top of the board by the end of the day in terms of pitchers. So that's sort of where I'm at here.
So just to kind of an update, because I don't know, it was kind of interesting. So, so I need Lanto Griffin actually on the last hole to make a birdie. And this dude, he needed to make 5 birdies in a row to make the cut. He's made 4 in a row with with one hole left to go.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That is
the ultimate humiliation, right? It's just to get all that way and then not get there.
Yep, absolutely.
Including on 17, he made a 26-footer for birdie.
Jeez, pretty nuts, man.
And Taylor Gooch on 16, his first shot is in the par 3 is 15 feet, so he's got a shot. So I'm paying a little bit of attention to that. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
Not that I can actually see it. I'm just kind of tracking the, you know what I mean, like the thing.
I hear you.
Okay, so shot 1 for Lanto Griffin in the par 4, 283 to the left fairway, 138 to the hole. LFG. You know what I mean? What else can we ask for?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Nailed that one. Yeah, I mean that's just get two more good shots and you're clear.
Yeah. Well, we start with 1.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's an interesting, baseball slate. I really am I'm struggling a little bit because like the teams I love that, I don't like stacking against the extreme pitchers umpire. I really like Cleveland. And mixing them with Boston, not that it'll be totally off the board, but the way I'm doing it, I'm pretty sure it would be off the board enough. And I don't think, like, especially in the big buy-ins, you don't need to get as crazy. Just to give everything away, I have Snell and Ray are my S starting pitchers on DraftKings. My main starting pitcher on FanDuel is Morton. And you could easily swap the Morton for Snell. I prefer Snell on FanDuel because I feel like he's more likely to have the 6th inning, be able to work through some jams. Whereas Ray, I prefer Morton because Snell we know can get into trouble with he gets in his own way, for lack of a better way of putting it. But I'm counting on probably making some edits after we're done because in listening to the weather report, because I just feel like there's just too many things that are making me a little bit nervous. I also really like San Diego, and I'm coming off of them a little bit in favor of the Dodgers. San Diego, extreme pitchers umpire there, extreme hitters umpire for the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers at no ownership and good hitting weather in New York is really interesting. So that's just something I'm looking at right now, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a chump, and I did exactly what I said I didn't want to do. Well, I shouldn't say that. So I'm double paying for pitching and freaking pounding Baltimore,
That's viable.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, how good can this? I literally have like one set of outfielders, like all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I got Mullen, Santander, Stewart, 1, 2, 4, and I put a Mancini in there also. And lets me get Zach Wheeler and Robbie Ray. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about the weather in Philly, but other than that, it totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I didn't think going into today, even though I loved McClanahan as being off the board, but because I'm playing so much Boston, I ended up favoring sort of McClanahan in a lot of my GPP lineups, and I think that he's a really, really, really good play. Actually, again, you shouldn't necessarily expect that there couldn't be something bad to happen to him, but this guy has a massive ceiling, and honestly, like, has had a pretty healthy floor, even in some tough matchups. You know what I mean? He put up 26 against Boston 2 starts ago. He's been in the 20s most of his starts. The only ones he wasn't were against Toronto and the Yankees for a lefty, and that's certainly forgivable. This Twins team has given up 40 fantasy points to 35 or more fantasy points to 3 different pitchers over the last 2. No, that's not 2 weeks. Over the last month, and none of them as talented as McClanahan. So there's my argument for McClanahan right there.
Sounds good to me.
But he's not in my 888. He's in my other ones. So Adam's asking let's get a couple questions in here. Adam's asking, how is Arizona line so bad? Their strikeout rates are low, yet they still strike out a ton. Doesn't make sense. That's obviously can't really be the way it is exactly. They have low strikeout rates in certain spots and high strikeout rates in other spots. And overall, there's nothing to like. Their low strikeout guys are guys like Nick Ahmed and guys like that who are just, going to put the ball in play, don't really have any power. Saying that, I actually have Nick Ahmed in a lineup, which is kind of funny. But they're just terrible. We're one of the worst teams in baseball in every facet of the game. And you've got to look at every individual hitter. Like their lineup, you can't look at their season-long rates. And this should be the time of year, especially after this trade deadline, no one should be looking at team strikeout rates as a team. It's not accurate. You probably have only 5 of those guys at most playing. So, yeah. Anyway,
so when they cite strikeout rates, they're using like people they're not on the team anymore as part of their strikeout rate.
Yeah, people when they look up, and I hear guys do it all the time on shows, they say, "Oh, this
Really?
really has its whatever strikeout rate." And I'm like, "Well, that's not necessarily the lineup that they're facing."
Right.
And I'm pretty sure we don't even have an Arizona lineup yet. So I don't know how anyone would be able to tell you what that exactly is, unless it came out in the last 10 minutes, which it might have. No, it still hasn't even come out yet. But you've got 5 through 9, counting Bumgarner as one of them, with the high strikeout rate. And if you don't think they have a high strikeout rate, just look at the fact that Snell just pitched against them, still walked 3 guys, and struck out 13 and put up 42 fantasy points last time he faced them. So it doesn't mean it's going to work out every time, but it certainly can't be looked at as a bad play. We'll say what's up to Ken, K9 Bronco, to our man Rody in the chat, all hanging out. Sheets, are you updating your sheets? Or are you writing with what you have already? Is a question.
I just pushed them like 15 minutes ago. I can't do any better than that.
There you go. Perfect. So there's the answer. But in terms of like other stacks other than Boston, who are you using?
Yeah, so I am, as I mentioned, I'm using a lot of Baltimore, and I am using Boston, and I did get to some Toronto after all of that. I wonder if Bichette, I have him as day to day, so I got to watch for that. You know what? I'm glad that you mentioned it because I did have one stray JD Martinez lineup kind of floating around. So I got to make sure to.
Yeah, I just swapped him out
to get rid of that. But quite honestly, I'm very heavy on this team on Baltimore and Boston, and I do have a decent amount of Atlanta. So I have to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one, I feel better about Atlanta's hitters than I do the pitching, but even that is, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going based on what I've been told, what I've read. And I did actually look at some other weather people who don't seem to be as concerned about it, but it's just what happens in Washington. This is the worst possible stadium to take pitchers in when there's any sort of risk. And it makes me nervous to have my main lineups on FanDuel with Morton in there because of that. But I love Boston, and even without JD, I just think it's a great spot for him. I'm just I'm trying to make them 4-mans, 3-mans to try and combo stack with the Dodgers. San Diego, Cleveland. Trying to look at who else I have on my. Those are my FanDuel ones. And then on DraftKings, I do have some Toronto, but very little, less than I would have. I don't even know who's going to play for Toronto tonight, to be honest with you. So we'll see. We've got a couple guys. Bichette and Corey Dixon are questionable, and I don't know if they're going to play.
Hey, Braves Washington is delayed.
Well, let's see what that actually means. So we're going to have to wait. Let's expect it on weather for the next 15 minutes, and we'll get out of here after 15 minutes because I don't think we can decide what's going to happen. I think the late start was expected. So I'm not too upset about that. We've seen it delayed, and then we've been told that means it's a full go, and then have them cancel the game right at lock. I've had that happen multiple times with Washington before, so it just makes me nervous.
I mean,
even the Dodgers, who I like to switch on to instead of Atlanta, they even have a little bit of weather concerns in that game. So it's just a little bit nerve-wracking, a lot of these stacks. I think Tampa Bay is going to be popular-ish, but I kind of like Tampa Bay as well. Extreme pitchers umpire in that game if you want to find a reason not to. But then I like Cleveland, who also has an extreme pitchers umpire, which I'm still okay with. And I'm sort of siding. I do have some of the Baltimore cheapies, like you said, but I sort of siding with the Cleveland guys instead of them as a way to be, I think, a little bit less ownership, because I'm just looking at Cleveland's ownership real quick. Yeah, I don't have anybody except for Jose Ramirez nearing double digits, and you've got guys like Mercado, Owen Miller, Miles Straw, even Ahmed Rosario in the mid tier, and then Franmil Reyes more on FanDuel for me because of the price. But they just have a lot of cheap, and then even Hedges at catcher, I think makes a lot of sense. So we got the delay.
I'm pretty sure, dude. I'm just gonna go 0. I mean, like unfortunately, that's been working for me.
For the Washington game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. The issue I'm having is I really like my lineup build, and I could just switch over to Snell, but I don't feel like having 100% Snell in my big buy-ins. They're literally the same price, Morton and Snell.
Right.
But I don't want to go 100. Like I said, I don't want to go 100% with it. And man, this Dodgers lineup is a mean lineup. So I'm really having trouble like not getting some of these guys in, especially Seager on FanDuel. His price is a joke. I love Bellinger getting low ownership or no ownership down at the bottom of the order. Pollock is a nice price on FanDuel at 2,700. Love Muncy in this matchup. Even though McGill I don't think is the worst pitcher or anything, this is the kind of pitcher the Dodgers just can tee off on, and this is a monster lineup. So,
well, the good news is I don't have to worry about Lanto Griffin.
He didn't make it?
He was 135 from the hole in the fairway, and he totally missed the green.
Oh man, that's too bad.
So he's got a hole out from off the green 55 feet. So
yeah. I think that like if people are into Houston, go ahead. People can play Houston. Just there's no reason except for you're just playing a good hitting offense. It honestly is a terrible matchup in a way. Like this guy's a really, really good pitcher, and I have no idea why every time Patrick Sandoval takes the mound that everyone wants to stack against him. I was going to the Dodger game the last time he pitched, and I still couldn't bring myself to stack against him in any tournament that was of any significance because he's just really good. Sure, Houston can get to anybody. It's baseball. Anything can happen, but I have no interest in Houston tonight personally.
You like any like funny business? Like you like any funny business like Cole Irvin or anything like that?
I just think it's getting too cute. Even without the Morton thing, there's just plenty of other pitchers. I'd rather take the upside of a Pivetta personally, and even that is a little bit fishy, but maybe that would be a similar-ish play. But Pivetta's at least got the strikeout upside against the right-handed dominated lineup. You've got Wheeler, McClanahan. As I mentioned, McClanahan. Like I just would rather play McClanahan than all these guys,
right?
Which is what I sort of keep coming back to. And then Robbie Ray and Blake Snell are. I mean, like if Blake Snell really people are just going to say I'm afraid to play him all the time. That's when we should be playing him. Like this guy, he just put up 42 against this team the other day. I don't really know what we're so afraid of. He's thrown 105 and 108 pitches his last 2 starts. Maybe you could argue that that's not a good thing because he's thrown a lot of pitches, but the only time he really, seems to have a leash with San Diego or loses his leash is when he's struggling or they need to pinch hit for him, which my guess is they get on top of Bumgarner and that he's in good line for the win, for the quality start, and potentially for a bunch of Ks. So that's what I'm doing. And Robbie Ray, yeah, we could argue Robbie Ray can be volatile. Maybe he's got some regression because he gives up these hard hit balls. Robbie Ray's been pitching against the Yankees, Red Sox, even Baltimore, who's tough against lefties. Now he gets to go face Seattle. Let's play these guys. That's what I would do. That's my recommendation. I do think Tyler Mahle is a really good long shot tournament play. I don't even think it's that long of a shot. It's just he's 7,100, and he has as much upside as every pitcher on the slate except for maybe Zach Wheeler and Robbie Ray. Maybe. I don't even know if he doesn't even have as high of an upside as they do. It's a mediumly tough matchup, and they've got a high run total, but Tyler Mahle is a good pitcher, and I'd go that route before I would go to, even though the Irvin thing makes sense. Like, I get it, but if I was going to get cute, he'd be my get cute guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that what I said I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to, I might just because there are other options. I might X out the other one too. I might X out the Milwaukee game.
Yeah, I have that game fully stacked or not playing at all. That's
Right.
the way I'm treating it. So, yeah, and that includes a couple Pittsburgh bats on the other side. I'll play Park. That's where I'll play the minimum cost Park at shortstop. You know what I mean? That's where I'll play Brian Reynolds with Park. But
Right.
I have like two lineups that have Milwaukee in it, and I am worried about it. And maybe we don't need to take that risk, but they're not the highest value tournaments for me, and I think there is enough upside where you can justify it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I
What if
just
I
want to give you guys a taste of what my lineups would look like with those games X'd. Hold on. Like what my ownership would be like. So let me bring that over here, and so I don't get anybody mad at me. And so with those games X, it comes as no surprise. I'm going to have a lot of Wheeler and Ray, Wheeler and Luzardo, Ray and Luzardo, and a whole bunch of Baltimore, Tampa, the games I liked earlier, Baltimore, Tampa, Boston, and Toronto. The one team I'm not getting to, Bobby, that we talked about today, I don't know why I'm not getting to them. Do we not like Cleveland anymore? I mean, you're getting them. I should probably
I just said Cleveland. I have them.
Yeah, I know. No, that's what I'm saying. It's the one team I'm not getting.
The only argument against them is that there's a pitcher's umpire in there. But I'm playing them mostly as 3 and 4 man stacks anyway, so it doesn't really affect me that much. You know what I mean? As a 5-man stack, to use your main full, like the same way I like Baltimore a little bit. I don't think it's the best 5-man stack. I think it's a great complementary stack. You have some power spots, some good upside spots, and sure, it doesn't mean they couldn't have it all and go crazy here. Great hitting conditions, great hitters umpire, but that is a good pitcher. So we don't have that situation at all with Cleveland, and they just saw Tyler Alexander, who pitched pretty well last time against them, but with a horrible bullpen behind them. I'm into the thing. I also like that you can stack like Boston with Cleveland because you can play like Jose Ramirez instead of, as I'm doing on FanDuel, in addition to Devers, who is going to be the guy who, especially with JD out, people are going to make sure to get Devers in. So if I stack a 5-man Boston stack and play Jose Ramirez with a 3-man Cleveland stack, I should be able to get a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Are you getting to the catcher, Plawecki, from that game?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe too much. I had Hedges as my main catcher to start with, and again, I tried to get. I had a 4-4 that I just absolutely was in love with, and then I'm sort of switching it up a little bit as it currently stands now.
Oh, it serves you right.
And we don't know who's playing for Toronto, which is good. I mean, Toronto's not going to be owned anyway, but they're really not going to be owned now. Who's going to play Toronto today? Maybe that's.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's going to play Toronto today. Eric C. Tabor is going to be playing.
I'm into it, man. I just think you got to just make sure. This is usually the time you say, "Well, I got to run and do this afterwards." This is a night where you might need to take a look. They tend to release their lineups a little bit late.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, well there you go. This is the time.
But the thing is that if we don't get the lineup I want, I mean that's the thing. Like I'm using up. But I'll tell you something interesting. I don't have all that much. maybe I don't have as much Toronto as I thought. Because I said I only have like 10. So you see, I only have 10% Bichette. And if that's the case, how much do I really have of them? I got 20% Springer, 15% Simeon. Dude, I have 45% Vlad right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
As you would say, rock the house.
Rock the house. And you know what? I'll be sitting there with very minimal winnings for a while.
And then
But
you've got
I'll always have swipes against Seattle. So
Toronto's gonna, if you're playing Toronto in a high buy-in, or anybody is, I would just suggest having some pivots ready. And I guess what you could do is make sure to try and include, like, I don't know, see if you can hold off on the third baseman that I talked about, because, like, maybe you could play Machado as a spend up after that. It's just a kind of a weird situation with Toronto, just because I think there's a legitimate concern about whether or not Bichette and Dickerson play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's my only thoughts on that one.
I got a lot of Vladimir. Yeah, whatever. So good.
Yeah.
Zardo, Robbie Ray, Zach Wheeler. Who else? Austin Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
Santander. Pretty concentrated. But
I liked everybody you mentioned.
Yeah, and I got a I got a couple of slivers. I do have one lineup with the Urias. Actually, two lineups with Mike Minor.
Yeah, that's fine. I have him in a lineup.
Yeah, nothing. And hey, in your honor, not like you did it on purpose, but in your honor, I have Mr. McClanahan in a lineup.
Nice.
With the aforementioned Max Muncy. So.
Ooh, now you're talking.
There you go.
I think the Dodgers have become like what Toronto is, especially when they're not in LA. Even though the Mets is not like New York, Shea or whatever, Citibank is not a great hitter's park in general. But this is, you've got it 89 and humid and the wind blowing out. It's a little bit different today than it usually is. So I'm definitely more into it today. Let me just double check. We're getting some notifications here. Nothing special.
I got a notification that my golf lineups suck. That was the official notification.
Watch it. This is what always happens, though. Then you end up cashing with your fourths. This is why I feel
it could be. It could be.
The guys who I nearly locked in are the guys who literally missed the cut. Everybody else I played like 60% of, which I didn't play that many lineups, just crushed it.
So just to check it out. So this is in 8th place right now, but gonna only go 4 for 6.
Oh shoot!
This has Henley and Webb. It's got 3% Hubbard, Brandon Todd. I just knew it, man. I had him every freaking where, but I just couldn't get the rest of my lineups going.
Where's he at?
He's gonna make the cut, -4.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that.
That's all I wanted.
I thought I was going to make all the money because I was looking really good earlier today in the 2 lineups that I faded Schwartzel because I faded him for Justin Rose.
Oh wow!
But then Ches Reavie has kind of destroyed that fantasy of mine. Not kind of. He completely destroyed that fantasy of mine. In all fairness,
I honestly think. Now I can't confirm this. I'm going to look at this later. I don't think I'm going to have any lineups with 5.
Really?
I think 4 is going to be my max. I'm pretty sure of that.
All right. Any really quick questions before we get out of here? Because I think I'm on the same page as you. I like Owen Miller. DFS for life. My man Rody says I like Owen Miller today. I'm good with that. 3 shortstops on FanDuel. I like it. K9 Broncos, Turner, Seager, and Bogarts. Love it. You can do that. I actually have the similar thing, but I'm sort of favoring Muncy over Turner. But you're not using another shortstop, obviously. But then I'm playing Bellinger at first. You know what I mean? So it's another way of getting creative. Maybe you don't need to do all of that, but it's good. Jack Flaherty, Adam's a good question. I think there's a chance. I just don't think it's the right slate to take the shot on Jack Flaherty, especially pitching American League. It's not going to be as easy. I liked the idea. I just didn't end up getting there personally, but I definitely don't mind it. Yeah, so that's that.
A couple of things, if you guys haven't caught on to this yet, helping out, well, not even helping out, hopefully just taking over some of these like ancillary sports. We have DFS Chan, who's been doing videos the last couple of days. Hopefully we'll continue to do them. Some really, really just good insight and content on League of Legends, and apparently he's really good at soccer too. And with the Premier League starting, he's going to be hopefully doing something with that also. I also started putting up projection sheets for like a couple of other sports. I wanted to back test them to make sure that everything was sound, and I'm starting to put up the tennis sheets and to talk about how completely altruistic this is. I can't even play. Like tennis is I can't even play it in New York, so I'm putting it up anyway. And anybody wins millions off it, that's awesome. Just thank me later. But I just found out, unfortunately, that I can play soccer. So I'm gonna, if Chan puts some videos up, I'm gonna look at them, and I'll probably play a little bit because I am gonna be probably trying to compile sheets for that also. And I'll just throw you one. He actually posted in the Discord that apparently there's a lock named Ryan Bertrand, who obviously I don't know any single soccer player, but Ryan Bertrand at 4,300 is a lock tomorrow. For those of you that know what that means.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me, as you would say. I would love to get out of here if it's okay, because I would love to check out the weather, and I've got a lot riding on it. Is that cool? Are you guys, everybody out there, cool? Any quick questions before we do? Because I think we're going to get.
I'm more than happy to stick around here for a few minutes and take some questions and stuff. I'm just kind of content with what I got, so I'll just leave it up here. So let's see.
Okay.
You can go, Bobby, or you could just kind of ignore this and just like go off to your other screens or whatever you want to do.
I just need to hear the weather and stuff, and I need to get a feel for
Jesse Winker is scratched.
Yeah, big bump up right there for Wheeler.
Okay.
You have Wheeler and Votto, who are two of the best four hitters in the league against right-handed pitching. So
okay,
that's a big one. Boy, McClanahan and Alzolay as my 250 lineup.
Hey,
okay.
What do you think you're going to be doing with respect to when's the wedding? Sunday?
The wedding I'm going to is a week from Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, right. So we'll
yeah, I'll let you know.
You're gonna put anything up this weekend? What are you doing? Or
yeah, I'll be around this weekend.
Okay, awesome.
Every day. Yeah, I'll be around, and
you're
gonna
put the 5 and 5s up.
I'll put the 5 and 5s up.
Oh,
hopefully, you can even do something if we need to. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'll be throwing up all the ancillary stuffs for sure, and I'll be putting up all my numbers, and if I could hop in to at least Discord to tell you what I'm playing, I'll definitely do that. And if Bobby's going to do something live or something, if he wants, Bobby, if you want to fire an invite to me if I'm around, I'll totally hook up in there.
Sounds good. I will try to. I'll definitely do that if I am able to, which I should be able to. So that sounds good.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, there's no MMA this week. There is NASCAR, but no trucks. And there's this the LOL stuff all weekend, and obviously baseball. Baseball and their soccer. So yeah, I'll be throwing stuff up there and putting in some crap. We'll see.
Sounds good. All right. Well, good luck, everybody. I'm going to jump out of here and check out the weather. And Sheets, take it down. Guys, take it down. Hopefully it's a good true DFS night. And good luck to everybody.
Sounds good.